son, where'd you find this?
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
Good morning, peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Happy hump day to the good people. What's the word? Welcome back to King's Table. Nat, what's going on, sir?
Well, I mean, look, man, when you sent me this video, I was blown away by it, to be honest. It's just so ridiculous. But I actually think that a lot of celebrities are to blame for these things. We'll dig into that in a minute, right? After you play this this sad clip, right? Because I don't know, man. I think people just become more deranged. Yeah. Like literally, I'm just blown away. I'm literally blown away by it. It's it shocked me, man, to the core. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll be interested. I'll be interested to kick this one around with you, to be honest, because this is it's just a funny topic, right? Like it's the last thing I was expecting, to tell you the truth. And yeah, you know, life is pretty good here. It's raining today, but the weekend was kind of okay weather-wise. It was nice to just get out with my friend and go and see the beach. I did have a little swim, but it was brutally cold, man, brutally cold. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the warmer weather, to be perfectly honest.
I guess everybody got a preference, you know. I'm not a big fan of the warmer heat, but you know, that's only because people act ignorant when it gets hot out. I will say, as far as the topic go, I'm really one of those. I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until people get the message, because this isn't the first time I brought this up. I didn't do a stream on it. I did a reaction video to it.
Right.
But see, like, my thing is, this type of stuff right here goes back to what you said initially. But we're going to get into it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm gonna play the clip, and then we just gonna peel them layers back like we do.
Cool.
And guys hitting themselves deliberately on the face with hammers and other objects. Why? They think it will give them a more chiseled, handsome look. But as Jim Murray reports, doctors are sounding the alarm.
It's a bizarre trend that's hard to believe. These young men are hitting themselves in the face with hammers, even saucepans. Get this, they think it will improve their looks. It's called looks maxing, and it's being promoted on social media by 20-year-old Braden Peters, a controversial influencer who calls himself Clavicular and has 800,000 followers.
You got to hit the chin hard.
He spoke his off-the-wall message on 60 Minutes Australia.
When you break down a bone, it grows back stronger. So you're intentionally creating these traumas, typically on your cheekbones, your chin.
But he walked out of that interview moments after he was asked about links between looks maxing and incels, guys who hate women.
How do you feel about being linked to that group?
Thanks for the time. Appreciate the interview.
I spoke with Beverly Hills plastic surgeon, Dr. Michael Zarabi.
What do you make of this trend of looks maxing and taking a hammer to your own face?
You can damage muscles and cause permanent muscle injury. You can even damage nerves that can result in facial weakness or even areas of numbness. And in extreme examples, you can even damage the brain and cause, for example, a concussion. So it's absolutely not the right thing to do.
Listen to what this plastic surgeon says happened to one guy who tried looks maxing.
A patient took a hammer, hammered it to the face, broke the bone, and the bone on the bottom of the eyeball flipped up and popped the eye, and he went blind.
Oh my gosh.
Clavicular's life took a dark turn earlier this week when he appeared to suffer an overdose in a Miami nightclub during a live stream.
Rescue 16, 20-year-old male overdose.
He was carried out and taken to the hospital. This morning, he posted, "Just got home." That was brutal.
You should not be following someone like Clavicular and getting medical and health advice.
Mental health experts worry this trend will lead to more cases of body dysmorphia among young men, which is already a growing problem. It's a
I mean, you know, what do you want me to say, man? Like, literally, I just saw this. I think I just saw this like this morning, right? I was eating breakfast and I was like, I know, I'm going to watch what you've sent me for today's interview, right? Today's conversation. And I was like, surely this guy's just an idiot. Like, he's an idiot. I'm sorry. Like, he is, right? He's an idiot. Yeah. Look at him. He's just been dragged out of a club. Yeah. ODing on something, right? I don't know quite what. We don't have any information, but it's like having all these followers, it just goes to your ego, right? It can go to your ego. And unfortunately, you have dumb people who follow them. And you know, they're taking advice from people who don't know what they're talking about. I mean, shocking. It's shocking, really. What's your take, man?
Here we go again. Same old, just a different day. Here we go again. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Rest in peace to Dark Man DMX. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Round and round we go. It's the same stuff over and over and over and over and over and over. You got somebody with a blue check. Don't matter if they're an A-lister. It don't matter if they walk the red carpet. As long as they are deemed popular in the eye of the beholder, they have the leverage. They have the power to influence a person who does not have the spiritual, mental functionality to perceive what is actually in front of them for what it really is. And we just keep seeing it. I chuckled a little bit at the fact that this man, not the fact that he overdosed, it was the fact that this is the same person that you're looking to for tips on beauty and enhancing your self-esteem and things of that nature, but he's getting hauled out to the hospital because his discipline is trash.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think jiu-jitsu and MMA and stuff are the answer to everything, right? And if you sent him to a jiu-jitsu class, yeah, they would just slap him around a bit, choke him out a few times, but it wouldn't make any difference because human stupidity that's really what we're talking about here. Like, it's literally just stupidity at the highest level. And following these people is one thing because they're entertaining. Okay, I get that, right? Like I get it. Like we need a bit of fun in our lives, right? But actually taking advice from people, it's like I was talking about it, I think a couple of days ago. It's like, look, if you want to get somewhere in life, right, you need to take advice from someone who's actually been there, done that, got the t-shirt, you know, as opposed to someone that has no life experience, who frankly is just, I mean, it's dumb, but it took hold, right? It took hold. That's what's so ridiculous. And this kid who hit himself in the face and bumped his eyeball, I mean, I'm just like, really? Like, you know, I can understand going and training for full contact, right? And getting hit in the face. Okay. I can understand that because I know a bit about that. Yeah. I can understand it. And you get used to getting punched. You get used to being kicked, right? But you're not hitting yourself with a hammer on on purpose to make yourself look better when frankly you haven't even stopped growing yet. Like your face hasn't even stopped growing. Like some of these kids, they haven't even stopped growing, right? They're not even growing facial hair. That's what's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
To be honest, like honestly, things like this humble me so much because I remember being at an age where I was really lost and I was looking to rappers and musicians and different sources for my identity. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to belong to something. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. And what God will do is he'll allow you to go through these different experiences, no judgment, still be with you when you walk away from them, when you decide to step out on your own to figure it out. And even in the process, he will put situations together to draw you back in so that your out view of what's really going on changes naturally, not forced, not through coercion or nothing like that, but in the timeline that you decided to choose on your own. So society has set it up to where your appearance and what you bring has more substance, what your soul and what your heart actually provides. And it's sad. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, you know, while you were speaking there, like the main thing I think is actually a lack of quality role models. And I personally think that, why are you looking to a 20-year-old influencer? Yeah, okay, the guy's got pots of money, right? Because brands will go to you and give you lots of money, right? But it's like, why not find people who've got a bit of substance, who have, you know, lived life a bit more, instead of going to someone who frankly is not, he's just not, he's a bit thin between the ears, isn't he? If he's encouraging people to hit themselves with a hammer in the face, like, he's completely right about the bone. Bones do, you know, grow back like that, right? But like, you know, Thai boxers don't hit themselves in the face, right? They don't headbutt. Well, they probably do headbutt trees because they're kind of a bit crazy, right? But like they roll rolling pins on their shins, yeah, in order to condition their shin bones, to make them, to fracture them so that they're tougher, and then they can smash things with them, right? But conditioning yourself for martial arts training, right, is totally different to hitting yourself with a hammer repeatedly in the head. And what that does to your brain, exactly what that surgeon said or whatever, it can't be good for you, frankly. It just can't. I'm just, you know, I mentioned the celebrity role model piece, right? And actually, when you think what's his name? Mickey Rourke. Yeah. He was a handsome guy. If you remember Mickey Rourke. Yeah. You remember who he was or who he is? And he was a handsome guy. Yeah. But he got involved with wrestling. Yeah. He became a wrestler. He was a great actor. And then he became a wrestler and he messed his face up. Right. And whether it was a combination of that, whether he did some street fighting, whether he did some other stuff, nobody knows. Yeah. But all of these celebrities, they go and they inject Botox into their faces on a regular basis, and they put fillers in, and they do all these cosmetic treatments, and they look like crap, right? Excuse my French, yeah. But actually, so we're sort of not really served very well, are we, by people? If I'm perfectly honest.
If time does nothing else, it's always going to reveal the truth, the evidence in which your heart advocates for. So history continues. It just constantly proves that vanity is one of the biggest enemies to the ego. So grateful that I didn't have everything handed to me when I was younger. I'm so grateful that I didn't have a bunch of opportunities thrown at me and a bunch of people in my face just, oh, look at you, you're so dashing, and here you can have my body at any given moment. Oh, here you can abuse me and do this. The character that gets developed through the idol. I'm trying to think of the word. Idolizing. It's so dangerous. It turns people into the versions of themselves that you can't be hospitable with. I don't know, man. Beating my face in with bricks and no, sorry. I'd rather go to the gym or work on my diet. Therapist. Yeah. I'm not about to sit up here and run into a wall just so that I can get a more asymmetrical look that is typically appealing to Western civilization. Y'all done lost your mind, and then you lose your identity and who you are. You're going to be more unhappy with the fact that you never knew who you were than happy with that you're trying to become.
Good point. That's a good point, because you would never you're never going to know who you were, right? You're going to end up just growing into this sort of strange looking character that's dented, right? It's just I just find it so weird. Like it's literally weird, but he's done a good job. He's got people talking about it, right? And that's where he makes his money. That's where he attracts more and more people to follow him, because that's how it works, man. If you become outrageous and you behave really stupidly and badly, I mean, look at that girl, the Huck Tung woman, yeah, the blonde chick that went Huck Tung, you spit on it like that, you know, that chick. She became famous literally overnight because she was talking about that, and that is probably one of the reasons this guy's done it, right? Because when you get to 800,000 followers, you're just thinking, okay, I want to get to 1 million as quickly as possible. How am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to be completely outrageous, and I'm gonna say some dumb things, and it's just this just takes the biscuit, really. It's just it's kind of just some next level stupidity, in my personal opinion, Creed.
I don't disagree. I see exactly what you're talking about. again, I reiterate, in a perfect world, we would have all been taught to love ourselves correctly. None of this state of the art AI generated philosophy, none of this social media archetype of duality. We would just have our families and our friends guiding us, nurturing, watering our development. We wouldn't be so worried about if we were popular, if we fit in with this person or that person, if we were too tall or too short. I hate it. I can't believe that there are brothers out here that are that depressed. They think about it. They're going through something so dark or so deep that they will literally reach out to whoever can give them some type of solution to alleviate the embarrassment they feel of being rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected. So if I gotta sacrifice my confidence, who I was when I was being raised, if I gotta throw all that out the window so that I can be a part of this toxic ideology, then I guess I'm gonna have to do it. And they don't understand how negatively that's going to affect them. This is
it's you just said a lot. You said a lot there. It just made me think of social media, right? And how social media is just this, it's just this place where we go to show how amazing we are, right? In many cases, we show how incredible we are, and we don't show the bad bits, right? We don't show the struggles, yeah. And it's unfortunate that there are so many dumb people in the world that don't get the fact that actually, you know, we are basically just a product that's being sold is basically what we are. And like if you watch the Netflix film The Social Dilemma, right, or you install some sort of plugin or a program on your computer, and you see how many adverts, how many tracking scripts are chasing you and following you around the internet, then it's kind of like it just makes you realize that basically you've just become the product of a technology company, and most of the time you're not being paid for that. And that's what is just, you know, it just drives intent, right? Like, what was his intent of encouraging people to do dumb things like that? Like, I just don't quite get it. Like, I'd love to understand what his intent was. Has he actually spoken about it since, or?
he may have, and I guarantee you, there's no real rhyme or reason to it if he did break it down. I guarantee you, it's a superficial explanation, because anybody who is willing to do that anyone who is willing to do that type of damage to themselves and then proudly advocate for it publicly in the way that he does, there's more to it. There's always a root to it. Quite frankly, you can't convince me that you are mentally healthy doing something like that. I know it's a real thing. That doesn't make it normal. And you heard what the physician said here, what it can do to your nerves and everything like that. Yeah, you can't be a stable human being.
No. Do you think it's because of a lack of hobbies? Do you think that these people just don't have any hobbies, so that actually they're just so addicted to their phones and the colors on the screen on their telephone and the endorphins from all of their fake friends who going, wow, look at your chin, it looks amazing, how did you do it, right? Do you think that that's what it is?
Lack of hobbies, lack of
Yeah,
purpose.
lack of purpose. Lack of purpose. That's it. But then who are we, right, to judge? Like it's a very judgmental, I mean, look, it's right or wrong. We know it's wrong. We've said it's wrong. But what do we really know about this kid, right? We don't know what he's going to do in 5 years' time. Maybe the Holy Spirit is like saying, okay, well, we got big plans for this influencer. In 5 years' time or 6 months' time, he's gonna, become empowered by the Holy Spirit to do some amazing things. Like we just don't know, right? And I like to think the positive, if I'm perfectly honest.
Anybody can be used. I mean, from my understanding, God prefers to use those that are either at their lowest or they have done some of the most heinous things in life.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it because it says, one, atonement is for everyone. And that includes murderers, rapists, all the above. If you have that repenting heart, if he can reach you and you turn over to him, yeah, you can definitely be used. He used Paul. He's used a number of people who went down that road. So who's to say that that's not the case here? My thing is, we really don't know who he really is as a person. But every time I've seen him, he's around a bunch of hypergamous females that are willing to cheat on their dude. He's around alcohol. He's around this lifestyle that is completely opposite of redirecting somebody from walking off the ledge. Right. So I'm only going off of what I'm observing. Now, if he at some point flips and then starts to talk differently about this, I'm all for it. Right now,
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, look, right, he's only 20, isn't he? He's only 20. So look, he's a young man. He's not even a man yet, right? Like, I know a lot of 20-year-olds are men, right? But clearly he isn't. Yeah. And I think that's an important thing to remember. Like, at the age of 20, some people are hugely mature. They're really mature. Some people are not mature at all. I wasn't mature really at the age of 20. I was off the rails myself, right? But I don't know, man. I just, like I said in the beginning, I'm just so shocked that people can just do these things. Like, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Really.
That's why it's so important to understand when you do content of any kind and you have a following. See, most people are going to ignore me because I don't have a million people observing.
Yeah.
But you got thousands and thousands of people that are looking at it and they are affected by it. And that blood will be on your hands too. People don't think that far ahead. And that's a problem. That's another problem. You're definitely responsible for what you put out here in the world. If he was saying, hey, this is what I do, it worked for me, but I do want to discuss with you guys the side effects, what it does to you mentally and all. If he broke it down like that and still was That's one thing. You're giving them the option to still want to do it or not. But the way that it's being promoted is like, well, look at me. I did this, and look at all of the beautiful women that I'm around, and it's because of this. Hey, that's all I'm seeing. So I don't know. He is still young, you know.
Yeah.
I hope and pray that this doesn't get somebody seriously hurt to the point to where it just changes their life in a real messed up way, and they have to be testimonies of the negative side of what it does to a person. I hope it doesn't get to that point, but I think we've probably already had cases like that. We just don't know about them. So
yeah. Well, it's bordering on self-harm, isn't it? It's actually encouraging self-harm in a way, right? I can see a sort of correlation between that. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm hitting myself in the face with a hammer. Like, why can't I like hurt myself some more, right? Like, it is kind of the thing. And it's a lot of people are going to take him to court. I think the guy that's lost his eyeball, I mean, I think it could launch a whole new series of cases with no win, no fees, lawyers that are like, oh, you took advice on the internet. Okay, well, we're going to just take this guy to court, right? That's why, as a business or even an individual, you have to be careful, because the FDC or FTC, whatever, right? Federal Trade Commission, yeah, might actually come along and say, sorry, buddy, you've broken some sort of law. They might do. We don't know. Yeah, we really don't know. And that is quite scary, to be honest. The whole prospect of encouraging someone to hit themselves with a hammer in the face, and then they could die, right? Like they could injure themselves and die, and what's going to happen, right? It's an odd scenario, really.
Yet and still, it's not going to stop. Unfortunately, you're going to see more of it. Body dysmorphia, we've done shows on that, but it's a real conversation that needs to be discussed a lot more often than it is. Self-care does not require you to cut into your body and disfigure yourself, starving yourself. You living off of bread and water, or you cutting into your lips to make them fuller or whatever. That's not it. And the whole industry, to me, is a testimony to it. You said it earlier. Botox and BBLs. Even though people done died from these operations and surgeries, people still doing it. Why? You trying to live forever? Or you trying to stay young forever? Are you still trying to be marketable at 55, 60 years old? Is that what it is? You still want the same treatment that when you was 23?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, buddy. I want that when I hit 55. Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. That's a big one, right? That's a big question. Yeah, big question. But apparently, according to Gemini AI mode, right? It's interesting because he, from what it says here, he promotes bone smashing as part of a wider looks maxing trend, right? Which focuses on extreme physical optimization, right? Sounds like he has reportedly discussed using anabolic steroids, lipo-dissolved products, and even dangerous drugs for weight loss, right? His content primarily reaches teenage boys on platforms like TikTok and Kick. I don't even know what Kick is these days. I dropped right off of that. So it's just what it is. Also, is it's this doing as little as possible and getting the maximum results. Right? It's this. I know I'm gonna look amazing, and I'm just gonna go and get liposuction. I'm not gonna put in the good hard work of building my body properly, and I'm gonna get liposuction. Is what he's talking about, and it's just like it's the same. Yeah, when you're 20, taking anabolic steroids, right, is utterly ridiculous, right? And he's talked about it, and it's utterly ridiculous. Yeah. Taking TRT, which I don't need to take, thankfully, when you get older, is something that, potentially is something to look into. It all depends on what you're trying to achieve in your life and what goals you have, how you feel in yourself, if you're lacking testosterone, right? And we all have to make these decisions. But at the age of 20 years old, you can't be making decisions on that stuff, frankly. Zero.
What would people do if social media just went away for like a year? How would people survive without it? Like
Wow.
I really be wondering sometimes, where would you get your attention and your validation and your affection and your ability and capacity to love and reciprocate and all the other things that come into play without this?
It's a good point. I think smoking would probably go up. Smoking cigarettes would go up, right? And a good question, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think that for the first few days there'd be a lot of depressed people until they found a route to doing alternative things in life, right? And the problem with it is that it's too time consuming. And I found this out the other day. Like, I turned my phone on, big mistake, yesterday morning, and turned my phone on like pretty much first thing in the morning. And and then at like 12 o'clock, I'm still on my phone. All right, I'm on the sofa, but I'm still on my phone. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's just odd. Like, it's, and some days you can control yourself, so you're not kind of on it, but like, it's not going anywhere. Right? It's not going anywhere fast. And I think moving forwards, I think a lot more people are going to get into like the offline stuff, right? But there's always that device calling you, right? It's always there, yeah. And all these apps are calling you, and they're designed to keep you on the device, right? So I don't know, man. I said in one of my videos how you can use these apps which will block certain functionality, and I think that's a great idea, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, it's a cold game out here. You try to tell people, look, this is ugly, this is rough, this is nasty, this is a dog-eat-dog world. People are really going through, and some people don't even realize that they're going through until the things that rubbed off on them start to show up in areas that other people can't tolerate it. Like, you pick up bad habits from this social media influencer, and you start acting like them, doing their mannerisms and all that, and then you take that to a job, you think they're gonna be having that?
No.
Chick-fil-A fired the whole staff because they were on TikTok dancing at the job.
Wow.
People
That's
have
hardcore.
people have gotten fired on the job for doing TikToks and all. Like, some stuff is not for the public.
Agreed.
You should love yourself enough to understand that if people want to be there, they're going to be there because of your character. Your character is going to make you that much more attractive.
Yeah, 100%. But also it's looking at the fabric of society and the way that we manage relationships, right? And actually, all of us have our motives for using social media. We have reasons to use it, ways that we use it, and some of us are content creators. The content creator, I think, has more control because they actually understand what content is doing to them, right? But unfortunately, when children, are teenagers, right? And I call them children. They are quite childlike, a lot of them. But when they're affected by people like this, it's like, hold on a minute, why are they even allowed to be looking at that, right? And then the moment the policing comes, oh well, you're not allowed to use social media. It's like, hold on a minute, a whole generation has been messed up by being allowed to use social media and using devices from the age of 3 or 2 years old. And now they look at TikTok and go, oh, that's a job. I'm just gonna become an influencer. And they don't realize, yes, they can do that, but they don't realize what that entails, and actually the consistency and the hate, right? Because there's a lot of hate that comes back when you start building your brand. A lot, and then you look at yourself and you sort of look at your confidence levels, and that's what these people prey on, right? This young man, it's like, yeah, go hit yourself in the face with a hammer. He's preying on people's weaknesses, just like everybody else, right? Everyone else who's in his position, they're preying on the weaknesses of others, right? In order to build a massive audience is what they're trying to do, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. But he's picked his niche. He's picked his niche of optimizing, right? And it's like, I talk a lot about optimizing your body, optimizing for exercise, yeah, but I'm targeting a different age group, right? Because I'm a bit older. So I think it's a bit odd. I still think it's a bit odd. Talking it through just makes me realize how odd the world really is when you think about it.
Odd or just unique?
Unique is a good word for it.
I was 8, 9 years old, looking at the world completely different. Yeah, I was a little sheltered, but I understood at that age to a certain extent that everybody's not me, and that's okay. Am I going to be happy that there are people who are malicious and have these imbalances with them? No, I'm not going to be too happy about it, but I get it, because who am I to say differently? We all bleed the same color, have the same organs and things of that nature, but when it comes to the human personality, when it comes to the soul, there's just some stuff that is never going to be linked to the, we're just going to be diverse. So you can be upset and this, that, and the third, but it doesn't mean that these people are any lesser than you or you're any better than them. It's just our walks are just all different. That's the beauty about all of it.
Very profound. Completely right. It's people are just so different, aren't they? I think, and it's just because I wouldn't do something doesn't mean somebody else won't do it, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And that, I find that whole concept of, you know, judging people by your standards, I find that a really difficult minefield, if I'm perfectly honest, because then you expect people to behave in a certain way, and when they don't, it sort of disappoints you, right? And I just find that whole thing's a big topic. It's a big topic.
The question is, are people really ready to have it? According to the algorithm, nobody wants to. According to me and you, this is worth more than a large bulk of the stuff that they upload on a daily basis.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't even go off of the algorithm. You like, it can pick and choose what they want you to see. That don't mean it's going to be quality for real.
Yeah, and your friends are also guilty, because if they send you certain types of videos, right, then what happens is those types of videos will trigger more of those types of videos if you watch them till the end. And that in itself is quite a difficult challenge, because generally when they send you something, they might think it's funny or it's ridiculous. You know, now I'm probably going to end up seeing a load of videos with people hitting themselves in the face with a freaking hammer, right? I literally think that kid should go to jiu-jitsu class and just get choked a few times by some like small people. I think that would really help him a lot. You know, I know jiu-jitsu is probably not the answer for a lot of things, but I think for that, it's probably a good idea, because it keeps you humble. This is the point, is people miss the humbleness, right? And being humbled, I think is a really important part of life. But how does that happen, right? How does that happen when you got 800,000 followers and everybody you speak to in your echo chamber tells you how amazing you are? This is the major issue, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that. To go back 20 minutes or so, it does a horrible attitude and ego. You probably was one of the coolest people in the world at one point, but you let folks get in your head and tell you that you weren't good enough. Maybe if you adjust this, maybe if you change this, maybe you start dressing this way, maybe if you start talking like this person, maybe, oh, now we like you. Do they really? They just told you to completely change everything about yourself to be accepted. They can't really like you that much. But people do it. And you end up like Vivica Fox and Nia Long and everybody else going into OnlyFans at 59 years old. Why are you 59 years old going into? That's a whole nother.
Can't go there. I can't talk about that now.
It's just.
I mean, then we're going to go back to Whoopi Goldberg. We're going to go back to, I mean, you know, it's
sensational.
I'm not messing with you, man. Leave Whoopi alone. Leave Whoopi alone.
It's a shame. I used to like Whoopi Goldberg when I was a kid. I loved her films, yeah, but she just became too outspoken. She became too rude, too outspoken, too confrontational, as far as I'm concerned. You know, confronting issues is one thing, but being confrontational and rude is another thing. And I don't know. I'm not. Maybe I'm on the wrong side of Whoopi Goldberg these days, man.
Fame and fortune and popularity change people, man.
Can do, yeah. Can
even on the basic social, economical level. Like if you are a well-known person in your neighborhood or something, like even that, it does something to folks.
Yeah.
Nobody is grounded. You should not be breaking your body in parts to be accepted by somebody. If they don't like you for who you are, then they're not for you. They never were.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is wisdom versus youth talking. This is really what this is. You got a young man who is reaching a certain audience and generation versus an older generation who knows better, trying to get it through the thick skulls of these. Oh, I know her. I know everything.
Yeah. Odd. I think I'm just in shock, really, by the whole thing. If I told my mentor about this, he's 77, right? If I told him about this, he'd be just, that's so ridiculous. And he would probably say the same thing as me, right? And if I told I've got an intern, right, who is incredible. She's based in India. She's like 21. And she's just got balls for a woman, 21 years old in India, to be working in social media, in marketing, and with ours is just incredible. And to be honest, I think she would probably say the same thing as we have said, because she's not dumb. That's the point, is that human stupidity, it shows no bounds, does it really? It's got, there are many levels to it. This is what's interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, you gotta love it. I say I don't like being around people a lot, but it's not. I don't have nothing against people. I got something against the ignorance and the spirit that's in some people that got them crazy out here. Y'all doing some extremely wild stuff in this world, man, and it's scary. It's absolutely scary. My only take, if y'all going through things like that, do you have people that you can talk to about that? As a young man, you probably shouldn't really be worried about dating too much, and especially if you ain't got your affairs in order. That should be your main priority.
Yeah.
Forget social media. Forget about the opinions of others. Are you saving money? Are you working? Are you thinking about college? Are you going after your goals and things of that nature? What's your relationship like with the creator? Are you in a divine order that gives you focus and gives you a sense of fulfillment? Or are you scattered and all of your attention is misplaced in different areas that really don't have no direction?
It's a difficult one, that. It's a very difficult one. And I mean, it's something that you got to focus on your whole life, managing your affairs, right? And focusing on what's really important versus, what isn't important, right? And that's, I think understanding what you should ignore and what you shouldn't do is probably one of the best lessons that I've sort of had in terms of concentrating on what matters. You've got to leave alone the things that don't matter. So you almost have a list. You can take a piece of paper and a pen, old school, write a list, and then go, okay, that's not relevant to me. You just cross it out, right? But people don't think like that anymore because the pace of life is too fast. And what's expected of you now has become a lot faster than it was. We had a lot of tough stuff. We had to deal with a lot of tough things, right? And make decisions. But now, you can work a full day's work in 2 hours. This is what's going on at the minute. Like things are changing incrementally at the moment. And if we can stay calm and we can stay relaxed and we can understand what people are going through I think that we're going to be in good stead for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you know, to be honest.
Fingers crossed. This was a good conversation. I'm glad.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be a good one when I came across it in my timeline again. I didn't think I was going to see it again, but then I'm thinking, okay, cool, this is confirmation. We need to address it. And I'm glad that you were able to make it for this one.
Thank you.
You dropped a lot of gems here, man. I hope.
Thank you. Likewise.
I hope the people who are watching or watch this back, you get something from it. That's the whole point of this, you know.
100%. And I will share it. I'll start sharing a bit more of these because I'm doing I'm rebuilding my website at the moment. I just finished the first revision of mondayinfluencer.com, which is what I'm working on, and I'm really excited about that. It took me a few hours. I needed to move everything. It was like, so my brain is a bit fried. It took me a little while to get into this conversation, to be honest.
It's like by the end, it was cooked. Everything was fully prepared. The table was set. So it's up to y'all. You want to partake? You know, I'm just glad we could do this on this Wednesday. You know, and
Likewise.
Shout outs to you. Shout outs to everybody who pulled up for the show. If you want to see more of these, hit me up. Shoot me an email. Leave me a comment in the comment section. We'll make it happen. They need to be brought up more. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Congratulations on getting back into the website.
Thank you.
And shout out to the people. Y'all be safe on the road. Enjoy the rest of your day. And till next time.
Thank you. Peace out. Appreciate you.